Speaker and honorable members, the motion is moved under Section 38(2) of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Act and Rule 61(1)(k) of the Rules of Procedure of this House. Aware that Article 210, Sub-Article Article 210, Clause D of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda mandates Parliament to make laws regulating the Uganda People's Defence Forces, including the deployment of troops outside Uganda. Noting that Section 38 of the Uganda People's Defence Forces Act provides that the President may deploy troops outside Uganda for purposes of peacekeeping with the approval of Parliament. Further noting that on the 7th of October 2023, Hamas and allied armed groups launched a large-scale attack in southern Israel, killing around 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking more than 250 hostages. In retaliation, Israel responded with a large-scale military campaign aimed at dismantling Hamas and recovering the hostages, which has caused mayhem in the Gaza Strip. Aware that the current Israeli-Palestine conflict is rooted in more than a century of competing national movements, disputed territory, repeated wars, and failed peace efforts that has led to extensive destruction in the Gaza Strip, a very high death toll, mass displacement, and severe humanitarian crisis, requiring immediate intervention to protect the civilians and allow for increased humanitarian access in parts of affected directly by the conflict. Cognizant that the United Nations Security Council, at its 10,046th meeting on the 17th of November 2025, adopted Resolution 2803 of 2025, which among other things welcomed the establishment of the Board of Peace as a transitional administration with international legal personality that will set the framework and coordinate funding for the redevelopment of the Gaza Strip pursuant to the comprehensive plan and in a manner consistent with the relevant international legal principles until such a time as the Palestinian Authority has satisfactorily completed its reform program as outlined in various proposals, including the peace plan as presented by His Excellency Donald Trump, the President of the United States in 2020, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Republic of France, and can securely and effectively take back control of the Gaza Strip. Recalling that Resolution 2803 of 2025 calls upon member states and international organizations to work with the Board of Peace to identify opportunities to contribute personnel, equipment, and financial resources to its operating entities and to give full recognition to the International Stabilization Force, acts and documents. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this Parliament as follows. We seek the resolution of Parliament that Parliament supports the decision of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, to deploy the Uganda People's Defence Forces in the Gaza Strip for a peacekeeping mission in accordance with the Constitution of Uganda and Section 38 of Uganda People's Defence Forces Act. I beg to move.
Right, Honourable Speaker. Right, Honourable Speaker, for the record, we are dealing with a very serious matter where we have to commit the country. We were served with the order paper for today. I acknowledge your powers to amend the order paper to introduce any matter of any nature, but given the seriousness of this matter and in a subtle way, I saw how my good friend Honorable Minister of Defence brought in this and the resolution we are about to make today. I would only, Honorable Speaker, wonder whether it's not procedurally right that you adjourn, you give us some time for us to address our mind to the motion and also using our technical officers to review the previous deployments we have made. Otherwise, from my perspective, if we took this one, we passed a resolution with the ramifications thereunder, it will not be fair on our side, Right Honourable Speaker. I seek your indulgence on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, honourable colleagues, I must put it on record that the Minister for Defence brought this motion much earlier. He did his part. So it was an oversight on my side for not putting it on the order paper. So I want to own up. And today is Thursday, and I have been.
In addition,
there are.
It will be unfair for us to reject or to accept without doing the work the way Parliament is supposed to do it.
like this one.
The matter of deploying our soldiers to a very risky place like Gaaza, where Israel strikes every now and again, Right Honourable Speaker, cannot be just casually passed here. We have to prepare enough.
Honourable colleagues, please. Honourable Samba, first take your seat.
Our biggest strength as a
Okay.
country is for
Please,
peace and security.
please. If you know you've come here to do casual work,
You can take
go
it.
out.
Uganda
We are doing serious work here.
for
Okay?
contributing to the world.
We are here to do serious work. Anyone who feel they are doing casual work, just get out. Please, issues. But, colleagues, matters which are big, that depends on you.
Uganda has submitted the name of a Ugandan
The most critical. The matter is things.
that he becomes the Secretary General of the United
We are always ready. We've been reviewing. This is an issue just for debate. And of course, I was reminded earlier on Order of Business, Rule 26, Rule 1, that I must give government business a priority. So I have to ensure this is sorted out today. Either we accept or we don't accept, but we finish our part. Yeah. Seungu?
Mr. Speaker, sir, you see, we as members of Parliament, and even the opposition, you don't take us for the sake of thinking that whenever you have anything you want to do by government, we are against you. But your packaging sometimes is a problem. For example, you've been in government. Dr. Shionga, Honorable Prime Minister, was a Minister of Defense. And in a number of occasions, you could take soldiers and then you come for approve after taking. Here you got to do with Council Shiriowa, Honorable Shewa, fellow land friend. He has come to seek for motion before deployment. Then, we were together in the Committee of Defense on Tuesday. He has fully mobilized this side, leaving out the opposition member who is his counterpart, the Minister of Defense. And I am ambushed on the floor of Parliament. But Mr. Speaker, why we come in to contest the way the motion is brought and seeking for indulgence is to have a fruitful procedure for carrying out this particular exercise. Members of Parliament from Nibi, go to a place called Parombo and look for a person who was a sergeant called Sergeant Okumu in the military police. He came from America for a military course, and on arriving at Bomba after 3 years, one of his sergeant had committed offenses and was in prison. What happened? They said, no, who can lead this team? He said, let us send this part. The moment he arrived in Somalia, after being deployed, from America, that very night he came back. In Somalia, he was hit on arrival, and they all died. These are the things we are looking at, Mr. Speaker, sir, and the Honourable Minister of Defence. There are questions you have to ask. There are areas you want to know. That's why the Speaker was asking you, are you speaking to your motion? And you stated what you have said is enough. But there are questions you want to know. Who are going? How will they be looked after? You insulate those particular areas that are of confidential to security, but there are those that are supposed to be known by Parliament. When you talk about deploying my son, my brother, I must know the interests of his family as he's going. I must know the interests of the country. What are the interests? What are benefits? But here we are, the Speaker Of course, with this number, you're going to win the motion. But facts will end up boomeranging on you. Let us do it, but give us room to give our concerns. Then those concerns can be addressed as fast as possible. Then your motion carries that day, and you
Honorable Sewungu, kindly give your concerns, okay? You see, motions of this nature, that's a problem. You see, it doesn't put weight to say, if it's a motion for deployment, you should give it this treatment. If it's a motion for where the rules are very explicit, motions which require a lot of scrutiny, assent committees. These are your rules. So you should have put it very clear in the rules, honorable colleagues, that for such an important motion, it should be referred to the Committee on Defense, scrutinize it. We call witnesses, we call former UPDF officers, we call who, but that's not what you did. So I'm only interpreting the rules you gave me. And that's why I'm confined, and I'm not ready to go outside the rules. Okay? So please, let's, Honorable Sewungu, if you have any concerns,
1 minute.
raise them, the
Just
minister
1
should
minute.
answer.
Mr. Speaker,
Even if you don't conclude, raise your concerns.
actually, what you are saying, I'm in total agreement with you. By the more fact that the motion was sent to you, the Honorable Minister, looking at me here, would have even given us the same chance with my leader of opposition. Within those few hours before plenary, I would have prepared what to respond to. But here I am talking about Parombo, those who were killed, those who have not been paid. There are even soldiers, Mr. Speaker. So I don't know, but for me, of course, I'm not supporting your motion because it's an ambush on us. It's an ambush on us. And the kind of your procedure. Procedure for what now?
I'm very sure with your experience, we are going to debate. Let's open the debate and you see. People are going to be, it's going to be a robust debate. Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, much as I would have no objection for our Uganda People's Defense Forces to go for peacekeeping missions, Mr. Speaker, I have issue with our forces being in quite a number of countries, Central African Republic, DRC Congo, Somalia, Sudan, mention it. And now we are about to dispatch another contingent to Gaaza Strip. Mr. Speaker, under normal procedure would be required as the legislature to know the performance of our missions, peacekeeping missions in these countries, and then we would be able to assess and determine whether surely we are doing very well to release another force to a very risky, high-risk region like the Gaaza Strip. The Speaker, because this is in the Gaaza Strip, unlike these other countries I've mentioned, it is urban warfare, and it becomes very difficult to distinguish between combatants and civilians, and therefore the risk of ambushes is extremely high. And I would want to, as a Parliament of Uganda, to be as protective to our forces as much as possible, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Now,
Ugandans vote their best to represent them in this house. And we are representatives, not delegates, meaning we should be able and have the competence to address any matter which comes. We sit on the front bench, you usually raise issues of national importance, and we respond immediately as ministers. So the point of procedure I am raising is why our colleagues are fearing to debate, because this debate,
That's it.
Right Honorable Speaker, is it procedurally right for our colleagues to fear debate? You have given us opportunity to raise any concerns. Yes, to raise any concerns, and the Minister of Defense, the Prime Minister, and the government is here to respond to the concerns.
thank you.
So is it in order and procedurally correct for Honorable Sewungu to fear to represent his people in Karungu to debate this innocent and very straightforward motion,
Thank you.
which is provided for in our rules.
Thank you. Now,
True that this is an ambush. I know we have a government paper. One of the headlines, and you can go to records, this matter was in public domain, that Uganda is being requested to contribute to an international stabilization force as had been resolved in the United Nations with a resolution which was being cited in the motion. This is an international stabilization force where various countries will contribute contingents. It is really very surprising that anybody would be feeling unhonored that your country, working with superpowers, is being requested to participate in such an honorable cause for peace and humanitarian cause. It's quite surprising. As for the doctrine of participation in military operations, the army is trained not to be in a dancing hall. The army is trained to defend humanity, defend territories against any levels of threats. So if you are saying UPDF is incapable of confronting any threats, test what we found in Mogadishu when a big force from a superpower had failed to contain the situation in Somalia. The first contingent which entered Mogadishu, which is an urban center, in a worse situation than what actually now is happening in Gaaza Strip, should be enough testimony not to doubt the capability and the capacity of your force. You should be very, very proud as Ugandans that Uganda People's Defense Forces is viewed as the anchor of stability in a sea of turbulence regionally and now globally. I know some of you may be worried. How come it is the President of the United States that is inviting and proposing that this international stabilization force know why the shock? But that's beside the point. The doctrine of the forces is that we don't go to dance, we go to confront threats against society, against humanity.